Open wheel racing is all about pushing the limits. G-forces, speed, RPM, and the human body. Push them to their limits, and only then do you have a chance to win. The Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series heads south at Texas Motor Speedway this week, a track known to be challenging if the limits are pushed. A 1.5-mile quad oval might seem straightforward, but shoot a little offline here, and you might find yourself eating concrete. After 134 laps tonight, who will be the final shell in the revolver tonight in Texas? You get one shot to get it right, and you better hit your target. Welcome to SYM TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and DeCuna, and this is the first time we've done Fuel IndyCar in quite some time, Finney, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, it really is good to be back. Nice to see that some familiar names are still running here, such as Laura Camp, Bloom, Roberts, both Roberts, of course, running tonight. Yeah, so nice to see some familiar names back on the ticker and running still pretty well, and it's so far a pretty interesting championship.
Absolutely. So we're at Texas Motor Speedway tonight. It's the 6th round of the 2019 championship. Of course, we're joining in a little bit late. Broadcast kind of got shuffled around because usually we got stuff to do on Thursdays, but some things shifted around, and now we're going to be finishing out the season for the Fuel IndyCar Series and starting here at Texas Motor Speedway tonight. Let's take a look at our point standings on the right-hand side of the screen as we walk into the night. Clifton Naranjo leading the points, but John Poole sitting second, 30 points back, and then Kyten Bommersbach and Jason Brophy tied for third. Stephen Larkamp, who's been really successful in this series, sits 5th right now. Will Roberts 6th, Woody Mahan 7th, Andrew Wood 8th, Cohen Evans 9th, Matt Hollabaugh 10th. So a pretty competitive championship, at least inside the top 5, but still got a ways to go in the season, so things could certainly cycle out a little bit differently if things start to go wrong for the front runners.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. And it could definitely go wrong on a track like Texas because these guys are going to be racing in a giant pack together for the opening laps of the run, and that's usually where we see a lot of things go wrong in the IndyCar Series. So I'll have to keep an eye on that because it's in a lot of ways it's like Talladega with the draft and guys bunching all up together, and these guys will be easily going 3 wide around each other, and that's where we could really see some wrecks happen.
134 laps tonight as we get underway, and right now Zach Buchanan on his first lap out, he was pulled for only a moment, but now he's going to get shuffled down the order, and across the line he comes for his second lap. We'll see if that jumps him up. It will to a 24.347. That'll be good enough for P2 as Kyten Bommersbach goes P1 with a 24.280. That's a pretty quick lap around here. We were just here at Texas Motor Speedway about a couple weeks ago with the Indy Elite Series, a pretty similar length race, and that was pretty competitive as well. So your expectations tonight as we take a look at our track conditions.
Yeah, as Volker does a little bit of a drift through 3 and 4 coming out of the corner across the line of Lacomia. It's a little bit warm on the track, 106 degrees track temp, air temp 78, so I imagine it's probably going to get a little bit hotter as these guys start to put down laps, put down some rubber.
How about Danny Roberts in the 41? Just went 5th quick. And remember, he's been a winner here multiple times in the past. Championship front runner there, and we'll see if he can do any better here tonight with a victory at Texas. So, talking about the challenges of Texas Motor Speedway, Finney, because we know that this place is not easy. What, in particular, I'm looking at one right now, is the trickiest part of this racetrack?
Yeah, turn 2, especially, you know, it's tricky in a stock car to come out of turn 2. You get so tight. It's similar to an IndyCar too, but you don't necessarily get tight due to the lack of grip. You're usually getting tight due to just being in behind someone, getting the air wash off their nose, or really just lack of air to the nose of your car, and you end up going to the wall. So a lot of guys are going to have to watch out for that, especially if you haven't been running in a pack, because that'll definitely catch you off guard.
Will Roberts in his number 39 machine, he's been pretty successful so far this season. Top 10 in the championship right now. A very good-looking green livery on board this car as he rockets off into turn 3. Speeds here, Finian, well over 215, 220 on the back straight, and well over 200 through the corners. This is a very fast racetrack.
Really is. As they come across the line, he's heading 222 miles an hour down towards turn number 1.
Only good enough for 23rd on his first lap out. We're right on board here through the remainder of his second lap just to see how or if he will improve. Off into turn 3 now, and you're going to try to keep it right against that white line, but it's pretty bumpy down there, so you might want to stay about a half a lane up till corner exit, and then you're going to come across the start-finish line. What will it be for Will Roberts? It's going to be a 24.331, which will put him 6th quick, so a good effort there by the 39. Eric Gonzalez in the 42. The couple of Fuel IndyCar races we did last season, one of them was at Pocono. He was a front runner there, ended up getting wrecked out, but we know Eric Gonzalez is talented. We'll see if he can get the job done here tonight. A solid top 10 or a top 5 he'd certainly be proud of, but we know he wants to win. Comes across the line for, looks like that is a warm-up lap, so we'll see how he does on his first lap.
You can see he's taking, using this as a banker lap, running around the outside, just building up speed, building up momentum.
comes on through into turn 3. A much different line through here. So he kind of is qualifying like a restrictor plate track in NASCAR. The first lap up high to get that momentum going, and the second lap I bet you he'll be right along the bottom. He's just going to get a time in here with only about 36 seconds left in qualifying. The laps take about 25 seconds. So he's cut that pretty close, but it should be a pretty good lap.
Back straight it goes, down towards turn number 3, hugging the white line around the bottom of the track. Don't want to hit that because it can easily knock your car loose. And out of turn 4 he'll come across the line. Where is he going to end up with 15 seconds left in qualifying?
24.254. That should be good enough for pole position for Eric Gonzalez by 5 thousandths of a second over Chad Frankfield. And Jason Brophy goes quicker right at the last moment by 9 thousandths of a second. A 24.245. That will be pole position tonight. How about that to finish up qualifying?
Yeah, the top 3 all jumping up there within the last 15 seconds. Frankfield 2 jumping to second, or actually I think he should be third now, after Brophy put in a fantastic time there right at the end.
A strong run in qualifying for Frankenfield. And for Brophy, who will end up being on pole just at the last moment here. So Cohen Evans in the 17 car, Finian, he's been a winner here in the past. Different look on board this car this week. A couple other drivers we're familiar with. Don Runkle Jr. over from the Cup side of things. John Wilco in the 62 starting right next to him. But Chad Frankenfield, we know he's talented in IndyCar. He's talented in pretty much everything he drives. And look at that livery. That is certainly pretty.
Target needs to come back to IndyCar. I miss the Target Chip Ganassi cars. Those are timeless games, and man, that looks fantastic.
All right, so taking a look at our number of laps, 134 laps tonight. If we go green all the way to the end, which we did just Tuesday night in the Fuel Cup Series, if we go all the way to the end green, the race will take 54 minutes. What are the chances we go green tonight? How do you think the cars are going to handle? Loose, tight, somewhere in between?
I think it's going to be a little bit hard to go green all the way, although these guys this year and the Cup Series have proved me wrong. I definitely think the IndyCar Series will prove me wrong. So I think we might see a few cautions, we do have quite a few guys on the grid, and for them to not at least get into some sort of wreck or some sort of incident with some guy getting loose, guys colliding together coming out of the corner, which is usually a thing you see quite a lot in IndyCar racing. I would be really, really surprised and very impressed.
All right, so let's roll through our starting lineup, shall we? On the front row, Jason Brophy in the number 44 stole pole position away by 9 thousandths over Eric Gonzalez in the number 42. Gonzalez starts on the outside of row number 1.
Moving on back to row number 2, Chad Frankfield in the 15 will be starting on the inside. Stephen Larkamp starting in 4th. 31 car.
Both those drivers from Pennsylvania in row number 2. Matt Hollabaugh in the number 02. He starts 5th on the inside of Nick Johnston in the number 28. Another Cup driver contender. He's going to roll off P6 tonight.
Moving on back, Hayden Bommersbach in the 37 will be starting on the inside. Byron Daly, another familiar name, will be starting in 8th on the outside.
In row number 5, Victor Vallee from Indiana in the number 7, and Will Roberts in the number 39 from the Virginias. He's going to be on the outside of the 5th row in his bright green Dallara IR18.
Back in 11th, you got Andrew Wood in the 32 from New England, starting in the inside. Outside of him, Danny Roberts in his 41 Ferrari will be starting on the outside in 12th.
We'll let the rest of these scroll on through, but Zach Buchanan, notable driver here, as well as his Project 2 teammate, Mitch Welker. They're both going to be really good. Of course, maybe perhaps a little bit better at the road courses, but I think tonight they're going to have a good chance to win the race. They both ran pretty well at Kentucky in the Cup Series on Tuesday, and what do we always say about the Cup Series cars now, Finian? They just drive like a worse Indy car, so this is going to be a better night for them for sure as we roll through. Cristobal Valenzuela from Chile back in 18th place in his number 3. And we're going to get ready to go racing here tonight. 134 laps the distance tonight. Track temperature is about 104 degrees as we take the green flag here this evening. So this is going to be fun to watch for sure. But up at the front of the field, it's Eric Gonzalez alongside Jason Brophy in the 44. They will take us to the green here in just a moment.
And also another beautiful UPS paint scheme.
Great looking car. For the first time in several months, the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series is green on SYM TV.
Green flag in the air as everyone is standing out across the front straightaway, getting each other in line, getting sorted out as they all file down into turn number 1.
First couple laps, you're going to want to be feeling out your race car. How is it going to handle? You're going to just get single file, Finian. Not going to push the issue, but if you're farther back, you need to gain spots as quick as you can. We see a lot of shuffling going on back here. Jackson Robillard, that's that white car in the middle of the racetrack trying to find room to race.
Yeah, if you're in the back, it's going to be a slow process, so you're going to want to start early on, but you don't want to be too chaotic. And speaking of chaotic, the leaders have drafted back together, 3 wide for the lead on lap 2.
Chad Frankenfield in the number 15 car. That's that Target livery on the outside lane into the inside. That's Eric Gonzalez. Almost got Uno out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway, side by side for the lead. Brophy as the inside line as they get to the corner.
And for a lot of guys, this is the first time they're going to be drafting in a pack this big, facing the wash of cars with 6 or 7 cars in front of you. So you're going to want to take this careful, feel the draft, feel the air out, and feel the car out as you file off into the turn. You see Byron Daly working on the outside of
that's
Larkamp.
Wow, and remember, Larkamp is a winner in this series before. We know how good he is. For the lead again, though, it's Brophy and Frankenfield side by side off into turn 3. Caution out in the background. It's Zach Buchanan in the 40, Finian. And he is immediately off the racetrack. But our first caution early here tonight. Let's take a look at how this one happened. Not going to get a very long look at it because he probably got off the racetrack to avoid causing a bigger accident. But here is a look. What happened to the 40? I'm assuming this is on the back straightaway here.
That's what I was thinking too.
TSN on the car.
I mean, he's not around anyone, so I imagine this happened in front of him.
Oh, just got in the wall. Just hit the wall and smashed the inside barrier on the back straight. Tumbled up the racetrack, and well, that was quick thinking there. He saved a lot of people from near disaster. Riley Thompson in the 56. He's already down on pit lane and a lap down. Not sure. Ooh, he's got some big damage there.
I think he was in the... I saw a car get into the wall trying to avoid Buchanan before he escaped out. I think that might have been Thompson's car, so he got a good lick at the wall. They're going to have to buff that suspension back out so he can get back on the track.
He's not even in the car right now, so that's not a great start for the 56 of Riley Thompson. For Zach Passon in the 119, he's already a lap down here, Finian. Started 23rd, down 11 spots. Not exactly sure what happened here, but hopefully he'll get his laps back at some point tonight. Another car already a lap down, Evan Adams in the 59, and Mitch Welker looks like he's retired his number 1 car. So Project 2, not a good start to the night.
Yeah, already both of them retiring out very early on. That's going to be very unfortunate for them.
So let's jump back up to the front, though. Jason Brophy has held on to the lead. It's been frantic up here, though, although we haven't really changed our starting positions at all. Chad Frankenfield sits second now. Eric Gonzalez third, and Nick Johnston in the number 28 is fourth. And right now, driving around the outside, that is Zach Passon getting a lap back. So already at turn 2, a trouble spot here, Finian. Why is this corner so much more difficult than a place like Charlotte, Kansas, Vegas? It seems like turn 2 at Texas is always calamity corner.
Yeah, honestly, I really can't figure out a whole lot of reasons why. My best guess is the fact that the corner just kind of flattens out on the exit, and I think that's what really at Charlotte and Atlanta. It's a much more aggressive transition to being just flat.
Yeah.
While the banking here is a lot more smoother than its transition. I think that catches a lot of people out of the
Yes. So my theory is if you take a look at a place like Charlotte and the exit of turn 2, you actually kind of ride the banking up onto the straightaway, and once the track is straight, only then does the banking fall away. Here, the banking goes away before the corner is even done. If you take another look, it's flat by the time you're on exit, and if you're pushing the car a little bit too hard, you're going to find yourself in that concrete.
Yeah, the problem is that these cars, especially too, are really reliant on using the banking in the corner, especially when they're in behind someone. So you take that away, you're basically trying to turn a 200-mile-an-hour car on this flat track, which is a recipe for disaster, especially because they have a very low downforce aero kit.
Yeah, so these cars are essentially rocket ships on land, and they have a lot of downforce compared to a stock car, but they really do rely on the banking, as you said. I mean, you go to a place like Indianapolis, that's all aero there, and you see a lot of people trying to trim those cars out to have as little downforce as possible to go as fast as possible, but there's no banking there. So if you make a mistake at Indianapolis, it bites you even harder than it does here. But for Buchanan, a slight miscalculation, and Project 2 is out. Mitch Welker, Buchanan, Thompson, Liam Sheen, and Steve Herring did not actually even start the race. So Sheen and Herring did not start, but Thompson, Buchanan, and Welker all out within the first 5 laps of this round here at Texas. So a tough start to round 6 for those teams.
Spacer comes out at turn 4. Should be getting the one to go this time by.
So, is there too early to pick a favorite here, Fane? Because we know how good Frankenfield is, but Gonzalez, he's been pretty patient so far, hasn't been pushing the issue like Frankenfield. So, do you have of this trio at the front, do you have a favorite?
Not particularly yet. I think really it's going to be a matter of seeing how these guys manage themselves in the pack.
Bless you. I don't know if it really wasn't a sneeze.
A little bit of both there. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a matter of how these drivers can really manage themselves in a pack, what kind of moves they can make, and if they really, just kind of stuff like that. So it's definitely something we're going to keep an eye on as this race goes and we get some green flag laps under our belt here. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on the 15 Frank Field because I know that he's very skilled in the IndyCar Series, so and really almost anything that he does drive. So my eye is on the 15 for now, but no clear favorite as yet.
There's Cristobal Valenzuela in the number 3. Of course, this team from Chile, and already a good start for the number 3, up 4 spots from the 18th starting spot that he gridded for tonight. Of course, single file restart's always a challenge in these cars, getting the power down effectively to not lose a whole lot of time. Brophy isn't covering the outside lane here, Finian, but I have a feeling he'll drift up there on a turn 4.
Usually the leader doesn't really care a whole lot about that outside lane because usually they get a good enough jump. As you see Brophy jump the gun there, green flag back in the air.
Returning to racing on lap number 8, and everyone again, now this is going to be better for them to start out because everyone's going to have room to race now. But there's Matt Hollabaugh in the number 02. That's that green and white car on the outside trying to get a run on Byron Daly, who's been climbing up the field. Frankenfield under attack from Gonzalez down the back straightaway.
To take advantage of the draft and everyone getting up to speed on the start to make a pass. Gonzalez throws to the inside, but not enough as Franco rocks from the outside as he starts to pick up that draft from Brophy.
It's all about managing momentum and keeping that car up in 6th gear as much as you can. You want to be carrying as much speed as possible. You see Gonzalez go up the racetrack. Not a whole lot of rubber up there yet. Not a whole lot of grip, but look at the run he gets on the back straight. Now he's going to swing to the bottom. A bit of a block by Frankenfield. 3 wide for the lead off into turn 3.
Frankel's going to take it. Brophy goes up high, and it looks like Gonzalez might be able to take it as that 44 tries to rock it around. Nope, he's falling back to 3rd, and under attack from Nicholas Johnston on the inside.
Yeah, if you're expecting these guys to be careful, they're not doing that right now. But look at Byron Daly as he comes through the field. Caution out at the back of the field. Mike Hurley in the 33 out on lap number 10. So we get our second caution of the night here early, and this time the 33 car was in the wall already in the back straightaway. Here's a look. Same thing. Same exact thing.
Yeah, same thing as Zach Buchanan. He actually did a good job. Props to him for keeping it in the wall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was about as few cars as you could. Oh! Someone got tagged at the end there. We'll have to find out who that was.
I think it might have been Runkle.
We'll double check here. But yeah, so he got it rolled over pretty good. And then here comes, it was John Runkle. Just tried to miss it. He might have missed it.
Oh, yeah. He got blessed with netcode.
Yeah, let's take a look at this in full speed. And he got on the brakes and just tried to guess which way he was going to go, and he might have actually missed him. I want to look at this in slow motion again. I mean, this is about as close as you're going to get without running into somebody. And Hurley did it, as you said, he did a good job keeping it out of the way. And again, this is, oh, he might have.
No, he definitely hit him, but he got blessed by the fact that he didn't actually take any damage. So.
Looks like Runkle will survive that one.
I also want to point out, you guys pick right on that aero protective.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't actually know you could paint that.
I didn't either.
I thought it was like only one of those things where it's just one color. So it's such a small thing, but somehow managed to stick something on there.
I love that helmet. That is a classic. He's been running that forever.
Yeah, he's been running it for a while.
Gained up 9 spots since his starting position from 36. We've lost about 5 cars so far tonight. So a couple drivers have chosen to come down pit lane. Will Roberts is one of them. Too early for tires to matter, or is this a good call?
I think it's a little bit too early to, come to the pits. I don't think they're going to have much wear on them. We really haven't gone through that many laps. But I think some of these guys in the back just might want to get out of some of the action, maybe try to stay safe. But, you never know.
Yeah, again, so I think there is definitely some of that. I do think that this race will go green for quite some time once they get the restart out of the way. I think just the challenge of the aero push, as you said, Finian, that's been always a challenge with IndyCar. It's been reduced with the lower downforce package, but I think we still do see quite a bit of aero push. You have to be conscious of how little downforce you're going to have behind somebody. So if I'm sitting behind a big group of cars, I'm going to lift out of the throttle just a little bit earlier. You don't want to run yourself in the fence early in the race because it's hard to repair suspension damage. Wings, easy, but suspension will take a little while. So, all right, so 12 laps complete here. Chad Frankenfield is the leader. Jason Brophy has slipped to 3rd. I think he backed out of that 3-wide situation just in case. It looked like it's paid off. You don't want to throw yourself in the fence early.
And, a lot of the pack racing that really happens in the front is kind of superficial. It doesn't really matter a whole lot where you are in that pack, as long as you're in that leading pack, because you're by the leaders and eventually the tires are going to wear out. So it's really a matter of, do you really want to wear your tires trying to fight for the lead? Well, and eventually you're going to get passed by someone who gets a better run on you. So I think that's where we're seeing him taking a more cautious approach.
Absolutely. So, of course, this is the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. And if you haven't visited the subreddit for r/Racetrack Designs, I recommend, we're under caution right now, open up another tab and go check it out, because it's pretty cool. If you've ever, I don't know if you've done this, Finian, but when I was bored, I used to like draw out racetracks on like paper and you know, do that sort of thing. I didn't even know there was a whole community around that, but there is. If you go to reddit.com/r/Racetrack Designs, there's a whole community of people that just enjoy modifying racetracks, designing racetracks, just whether it's on a fancy CAD program or whether it's on a napkin. It's pretty cool, the things that people come up with. Definitely one of the subreddits I think is more intriguing in the motorsports-related field. So go check that out. They are the sponsor of the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. We want to thank them for coming on board this season. And with that, the lights should shut off on the pace car. There they go. They extinguish. And re-rack and restack them for a restart on lap number 15. Do the heat cycles on the tires factor into the grip level on the restarts?
I mean, they probably will a bit. I don't think it's really going to matter a whole lot. You might get a little bit reduced grip with those heat cycles. But yeah, again, I think in the overall grand scheme of things, it's not going to be too big of a factor.
So the track conditions when we started the race were 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That is where it still is. Not much of a breeze here tonight. These cars are light enough that if you have a relatively large breeze, they will move around a little bit. Partly cloudy skies, so we're not going to get 130, 140 degree track temps like we saw when the Fuel Cup Series visited here a few weeks ago.
And I think Glads are going to be definitely happy with that, because with the speed that they're carrying out of the corners, you can easily lose control of them. We actually saw this in the Indy Elite Series when they were here at Texas. They were running an open setup series, and a lot of guys were trying to run.
They were crashing on the straightaways.
Yeah, they were crashing the straightaways because it was pretty hot for one, and also guys were running as little aero as they could to get better runs to the corner, to be less reliant on the downforce. But yeah, we saw some guys break loose. Shouldn't be too much of a problem here tonight, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Restart lap number 15. Frankenfield, Gonzalez, Brophy, Johnson, Daly, your top 5. Green flag back in the air.
Pretty orderly start for everyone.
So we'll see how dicey they get up towards the front here. Chad Frankenfield wrestled the lead away from Gonzalez and Brophy off in turn 3 on the last short run. Here comes Gonzalez to the inside. Brophy and Johnson duking and diving back there for third.
Comes Johnson now to the inside. He's going to try to challenge up for second, as also Daly's making his appearance. He goes to the inside of Brophy, moving him back into fifth, lowest he's been tonight.
Whoa, here comes Frankenfield to the outside quarter of Eric Gonzalez. Going to try to carry the momentum down in turns 1 and 2. We've seen drivers understeer badly on the exit of this corner. Will he lose some aero? No, he will not. But look behind him. Johnson sliding in front of Daly.
So some car in the background to avoid the turn 2 wall. We have for Frankenfield, this is a pretty opportune being on the outside. You got clean air there for now, at least, as Gonzalez Rock is on the inside, and he's going to get past. You get clear of Frankenfield, but look in behind, not too far. You can see Johnson now making some moves.
Yeah, this again, they're going over 220 miles an hour off into turn 1. Your reaction times have to be that of a fighter pilot to make sure you don't run yourself in the wall behind. That was the 41 of Danny Roberts that almost got in the fence out of turn 2. But for the lead again, Gonzalez and Frankenfield swapping back and forth. I don't want to pull away from this, Finian, because he might miss something big up here.
We definitely might, all these guys being pretty respectful so far. It doesn't look like the pack's forming quite a bit as of yet. And the front guys are being very patient, giving each other quite a bit of space. But here comes Byron Daly trying to make some noise.
Yeah, Byron Daly, again, he's been a winner in this series before. We know how talented he is. Well, how long will he wait? Here comes Frankenfield back to the bottom in the number 15. And Byron Daly sizing him up. Middle.
See, through the pack, a lot of single file action with guys being very patient now after the opening few laps. We see almost 3 wide down to turn 1, except for these guys.
Yeah, everyone being patient except for the leaders, and you really, you can take the guy out of the race car. You can't take the race car out of the guy. Here comes Daly with a big run to the inside. 3 wide for the lead again in turn 3, Finney, and this is pretty dicey. Only 19 laps in. Whoa, contact! Oh. Gonzalez in the wall, tumbling end over end on the front straightaway, and his night is taken away in an instant. And more drivers trying to miss it.
Oh,
Cass Silliman.
Someone stuck on the fence.
Oh. Oh man, that hurts. That is not what we wanted to see for Eric Gonzalez. The last time he was up front running on SYM TV was back at Pocono last season. And this is the incident in turn 4. Frankenfield up the racetrack just a little bit and tumbling end over end. A wild ride into the fence here at Texas. Oh, more cars in it. That was the 09 machine of Rodrigo Munoz. But, that's just 3 wide, 20 laps in here, Finney. And is this anybody's fault, or is this just hard racing?
I think it's, if anything, it's the fault of, I guess, over-aggressive driving. Gonzalez really threw into that. It was amazing. He made the move going down into turn 3. And yeah, and the problem here really with turn 4 is the fact that the bottom 2 lanes pretty much come out of the turn approaching the wall, so there's not much room for Gonzalez to be up there.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, if you watch that again, and we will go back just a couple seconds here, just to watch this again and watch the lines of each car. Watch Frankenfield. He actually doesn't come up the racetrack all that much, and this. When I first saw this, I thought Frankenfield slid up, but it actually looks like the 42 is trying to turn down so he doesn't get the wall and exit. Yeah. But just too many cars and too small of a space.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with the way this track, way the track is. With the ovals coming out of the corner, like the inside line is going to come out towards the wall, and we were looking at the 09 of Munoz and was trying to avoid it.
Yeah, he really didn't hit the wall that hard. Now, unfortunately for Silliman, that was a pretty heavy hit there for Silliman, just trying to lock up and miss it. And 3 wide here, actually got off of Andrew Wood and into the wall. We'll watch that at full speed, but that just goes to show you how fast the drivers have to make decisions here. Let's ride on board. This is entering turn 3 for Silliman. Car's tumbling, slowing down, still over 200 miles an hour, and then just trying to get out of the way and turn left. There was a car there, and unfortunately for Silliman, stuck in the safer barrier at the end of the night for the 66. Been a troublesome start here, Finney, and now it was the leaders that tangled. So that severely changes how this race is going to go. I thought Gonzalez certainly was one of the best looking race cars out there, and to have him torn up this early really changes this race. Now another car I see lurking inside the top 5 is Steven Larkamp in the 31.
He's appeared here. I haven't seen a whole lot of him in this race, but is approaching up there and ready to go.
He's been here.
Well,
he just hasn't been in
the.
He's been hiding. Yeah, he's been up here, kind of mixing it up inside the top 10. We just haven't seen a whole lot of him. Chad Frankenfield started in 3rd, was as high as 1st. Now drops down to 6th after he came to pit lane. And if we take another look here at the stint graphic here, the top 5 drivers all decided to stay out. Everyone from 6th on back. Frankenfield, first of them, came in for tires and fuel. So interested to see. Evan Adams he was a lap down earlier in the race, sitting 5th right now in that 59 car.
A good run for that Castro machine, and also looking down the order, Brophy has dropped back all the way down to 13 in the order.
Yeah, he was our pole sitter tonight, and tried to get out of a bad situation, and looks like he avoided a potentially bad situation, and has that car nice and clean and out of harm's way for now. So, if you're Jason Brophy, how aggressive are you getting back to the front, or are you willing to just kind of sit back here and let things play out?
I think you should definitely try to play it out. Maybe focus on just getting past one car at a time. Don't really force the issue, because we've seen here, I think pretty much every single wreck has been caused by people. I wouldn't say forcing the issue, but being a little bit aggressive here and there. So, and especially too when you're working through the field. You never know when these wrecks can happen, so you want to be on your toes and be ready for that just in case a wreck does happen in front of you.
Yeah, let's remind you that we are actually time constrained beyond just the lap constraints tonight, so if we continue to have yellow flags, this race will actually run shorter than 134 laps. So if we start to get into a couple more cautions, then we have a long green flag run, we have to keep in mind what lap will actually be the white flag. We won't necessarily know that until later in the race. So right now, as far as we're concerned, we're going to go all the way to the end pretty easily, but that might not be the case.
Yeah, we have an hour and 35 minutes time allotted for the servers, so they give you guys have that much time to finish. Super green flag at around 9:08. We're about 20 minutes into that, so got a little bit over an hour remaining to finish this, which again, they should definitely be able to finish in time. Should we go green?
All right, going to be green flag back in the air, lap number 24. Byron Daly in the 06 fires his twin-turbo V6 back up. Nicholas Johnson in 2nd, Larkamp 3rd, Roberts 4th, and Evan Adams in 5th. As we get down to turn 1, we're going to see a bit of separation towards the front, and I thought for a moment, but here comes Johnson looking for the lead out of 2.
We'll see what he does here. He might just try to sit in behind Daly, and he's right up in behind him, close enough to give him a bump draft if there was a bumper. But unfortunately, he has wings, so he can't really do that as Will Roberts is working around Evan Adams, who drops back.
It's actually Chad Frankenfield working around. Will Roberts is 1 up. Jason Brophy in that 44. He restarted 13th, and He's right in front of this great battle. There's Valenzuela and Jackson Robillard. Whoa, that got tight there for a moment. Valenzuela used him up in the middle of turn 2.
Robillard has some damage. He has some damage to his front wing. It's a little crinkled in, so he's got to be a little bit careful. He's reduced downforce to the front of that car.
That was about as close as you can get without crashing race cars right there. Evan Adams dropping down spots. Here comes Bommersbach in the 37 to the inside off into turn 1. And Cohen Evans in the 17 working his way up through the grid after starting 17th. This is +9 for him early in the going, looking pretty solid. Oh, a bit of a dust up in the background. Robillard might have caught in the wall out of turn 2, or slowed up at least.
Yeah, I think he's just struggling due to just reduced grip.
Valenzuela was in the middle of that as well. Was there an incident out of turn 2 here?
Might have been close.
I'm going to look back again. So Valenzuela and Robillard, remember, they almost got to, actually, they did get together in turn 1 last time by. What was the situation here? That's the 44 Brophy. And Robillard on the inside here. Was there... No, just momentum changing. There was a puff of smoke there from someone's internet going in and out, I think, which is what made that look so suspect.
Willard's doing a great job. Looks like the wing is definitely affecting, but I guess not as much. Or he's definitely using it in a way where he's not facing the detriment of it as of yet. It's towards the inside of the 7 car.
It's certainly damaged, but it's not as bad as it could be. So as he works onto the back straightaway, he'll get a chance to fix that again tonight. And again, it was very slight contact, so it really shouldn't affect the car a whole lot. Up the road, Danny Roberts is trying to run away from this group behind him. That's Robillard and Believe that are side by side.
They're continuing to fight it out. Roberts struggling to get past Believe.
Vic Bloom, Brian Harris in double wide behind him. Harris is going to jump in line. And Valenzuela coming back. Whoa, contact out of turn 2. And there they go on the back straight. And Brian Harris, they're all trying to miss him.
Wow.
I can't believe they missed him. There goes someone around. I think that was the 40 or 22 of Jared Dixon, I believe. But for Brian Harris, he's torn up. Vic Bloom's torn up.
Actually, Vic Bloom, if we go back to his car, it doesn't look like he got a whole lot of damage. I think maybe to the right side.
Escaped without a whole lot. All right, I do know that Brian Harris is in the middle of it, though, so let's go back and take a look.
He's without a lot of parts to his car.
Yeah, we got to look at this a little slower, because I didn't really see how this actually materialized. So it was Vic Bloom on the bottom. I think he's going to drift up out of turn 2. And he's going to tag the 7. That's Lee. Lee was holding them pretty tight there, too. And they're all going to get in the wall. Then Harris kind of gets the worst of it. I think Vic Bloom just spins out. I don't think he actually hits anything.
He didn't hit the inside wall and brought it to a stop. And then some car goes to the inside of him right there.
I can't believe that nobody hit him here.
He did a fantastic job saving his car, too.
Let's go back again. Here's Brian Harris's onboard view. And he actually got kind of knocked sideways with the front wing. He's going to back into the wall pretty hard and also get it with the front. We'll watch it at full speed here for the 73. And you try to lock it down to do everything you can, but can't miss it. Let's ride on board with Vic Bloom now.
Again, fantastic driving here.
Yeah, that could have been
Gas up just enough, locked it down, and got really lucky that no one hit him.
That was extremely lucky. So Vic Bloom is going to be counting his, what's the word I'm looking for? Blessings?
Yeah.
As he comes down to pit lane to get some 4 fresh Firestones as we are under our, I think we're under our 4th caution in 31 laps tonight. So a little bit of trouble getting started, but I think everyone knew this was going to be a challenge tonight, so nothing really surprising here. Yeah,
and again, this is due to everyone being, again, so close together on the track, especially coming up the corners. I think is the real big problem. I haven't really seen this type of problem, at tracks like Charlotte. I think Charlotte typically tends to be a little bit greener.
Yeah, I think we've seen 3 of our 4 cautions come in or out of turn number 2.
Yeah.
Turn 4, we had 1 incident with the leaders, but everywhere else, it seems like turn 2's been the trouble spot. By design, I think this is one of the challenges of Texas Motor Speedway is how quickly that banking drops away. It makes it a challenge. You saw same situation there. Drivers just washing up the racetrack. Combined with another driver holding him down a little bit tighter than probably necessary, ended up causing just too many cars in too small of a space. And it's just classic Texas out of turn 2. Byron Daly leads the way, though. He's pretty hard to get out of the lead once he's there.
Yeah, he's been a really dominant force in this series. From the looks of the point standings, not so much this season. I don't know if he's missed a few races here. Actually, not in there. Yeah, so I think he's probably hasn't started a few races, but is showing up to where he can. But it looks like he's still got the pace in that car, in that Home Depot machine. We'll see if he can hold off a lot of these other faster guys in behind him and see Chad Frankenfield in fourth. I mistook him for Will Roberts because Roberts runs Target in the Cup Series.
I see. Okay.
That's why I was getting them mixed up.
So my discussion about the championship points is going to revolve around. You see 16 drivers here, Finney, and I can count. I almost run out of hands or fingers on one hand counting how many drivers have had issues so far tonight. Woody Mahan was 7th walking into the night. He was involved in a recent collision, and he has actually left the race. He's now 12 laps down. So he was 7th in the points coming into the night. Andrew Wood also got a piece of contact earlier. I think he's still running up inside the top 15. But if you take a look at Zach Buchanan, he's out of the race. Vic Bloom just almost crashed out. Cass Silliman crashed out. Riley Thompson, DNF. I mean, there's a lot of cars in here that have had trouble tonight. So there are some other ones in that are not in here that have had really good nights so far. Byron Daly being one of them. I think Nick Johnston is not on this list either, and he's having a pretty solid evening so far. So we're going to see a big points shakeup after tonight. Again, we're 6 rounds in, and some of these guys have built up a cushion, but there are a lot that are kind of ready to tumble out of the podium.
Yeah, second place in the points, John Poole. He's down on pit road back in 22nd.
Thanks, G-Force.
Yeah, he's down on pit road back in 22nd. I'm not sure if we can get an eye on his car.
Which driver? Sorry,
John Poole. I'm just going to see if he's down on pit road.
No,
he was the car that just skated by the last.
Yeah,
season.
he hasn't really been in the mix so far, but he doesn't have any damage either. So he's just been staying out of the way.
Yeah, I think he's doing this by design. I think he's just letting the field drop down because we started with 34 guys. We're down to 23, 24.
Yeah, Phil Clark is 8 laps down. I think he might have joined the race a little late. All right, coming back to the green, lap number 34, 101 laps to go. Byron Daly, Nick Johnston, Stephen Larkamp, Frankenfield, and Will Roberts, your top 5 as the green flag drops again here at Texas.
Great start for Johnson here. I don't think he can do anything into turn 1. He's going to pull up high, but to no avail.
He's been very patient, though, on these restarts. I don't really see him pushing the issue here unless he gets a really good opportunity.
Even now, not pulling to the inside. Larkin going to follow the same and just kind of follow in line here. We'll see how long this lasts.
Big gaps throughout the field as everyone tries to settle in for hopefully a long haul. 100 laps to go, about 40 minutes worth of racing. Byron Daly chooses the bottom. Nick Johnson up the racetrack. Larkamp looking even higher. Not a whole lot of rubber out there. We do see the track kind of darkening in the middle of the corners, but the outside groove is not going to have any grip until later in the race.
Yeah, the top 8 have broken away from the rest of the field. So everyone through Cohen Evans is kind of in this leading pack as you see them come off of turn 4. A little bit of separation to the midfield.
There's some slicing and dicing towards the rear, but we're going to keep our focus up towards the front. Larkamp in the 31 trying to build some runs on this top 2.
He's running really patiently. In fact, a lot of these guys are. I think they're just choosing to run single file now, not force the issue.
You can see how much he's pushing up the racetrack there, though.
And remember, these guys are on older tires, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they are. 36 laps, 37 for the top 3.
So, the top 3 are on the same tires they rolled off the pit road with at the beginning of this race. So, they're definitely going to be struggling for grip. And I think guys like Chad Frankenfield and Roberts can take advantage of this, especially Frankenfield, where you see he has only 16 laps on the tires.
Johnson beginning to run up the racetrack a little bit, maybe trying to save some tire. I mean, if you're the leader, we've seen this in the past where they hug the white line like they're driving a go-kart, and the problem is it's going to scrub a lot of your tire off. Yeah. So I think maybe Johnson taking a bit more of a conservative line, or is he legitimately trying to find a way around the 0-6?
I think he's just racing conservatively, too. You want to make sure you're not running in right behind. If you're trying to save tires, at least, make sure you're not running directly in the aero wash of the guy in front of you because you're going to be using more and more tire to make the car rotate in dirty air.
Will Roberts chasing down this battle for 3rd right now. It's Larkamp and Frankenfield that are side by side in front of Roberts. And again, we're starting to get some green flag laps under our belt, and as we do that, we should see some more spread and separation. Ooh, big jump out of the throttle for Roberts there. Almost got in the fence, had to be conservative, but he knew when to jump out of the throttle, and that's what saved him.
I don't think he's trying to flow up his run right now because he's currently in the top 5. Doesn't want to ruin a nice day.
Pole sitter Jason Brophy in 8th place in that 44. And got Cohen Evans and Jackson Robillard right behind now. Has Jackson Robillard fixed that wing? Yes, he has. So a brand new wing on the 89 machine.
And he's definitely looking fast because he's making some moves even with reduced downforce to his car. So we'll see if he can try to chase back up to this pack up ahead of him.
Larkamp and Frankenfield still side by side. And So what's the, if you're Larkamp and you're on the bottom with those older tires, does that make you push more, or does that make you oversteer more? What typically is the reaction of the car on older tires?
Yeah, typically you want to be running higher up on the track. Oh no, Frankenfield in the wall.
Oh, big impact there, straight into the concrete for Chad Frankenfield.
He's going to be done with that.
Yeah, that's going to basically take this car out of contention.
What a shame.
Same spot in turn 2 that we've been watching all night long.
And I think Roberts, we saw him back out at one point. I think he was a little bit wary of the way Franklin was coming off the corner. Unfortunately, Franklin a little bit too high off of 2 and bit him.
Yeah, we'll stay live here. Everyone saw the impact out of turn 2. A big impact in the wall for the 15 of Frankenfield. That might be the end of his night, unfortunately. Let's jump back up to Kite Pommersbach in 6th place, trying to chase down pole sitter Jason Brophy, who begins to claw his way back towards the front. Now that we're getting some green flag laps under our belt, I think that 44 is gaining some confidence in his race car, and all the way up, rim riding Texas Motor Speedway to try to find some speed.
Yeah, whoa! No!
That was a little too close for comfort. And a damaged wing as well.
Yeah, I think got a little bit too much of a run.
You see the wing on that 44 is bent up. I think just timed it wrong, Finian. I mean, this is so easy to do. Is you have a huge head of steam and yeah,
I don't think he expected Will Roberts to back out that much off the throttle.
Well, we've seen Will Roberts struggle with understeer out of turn 2 a couple times tonight. He's jumped out of the throttle, and it's unexpected if you're behind him, as we got a couple drivers going around him. So I wonder if Roberts is feeling something wrong, maybe in the rear suspension of that car, because there was pretty much a direct impact to that gearbox. Some cars shuffling around him. Let's jump up to the lead momentarily as Byron Daly has gone high to defend from Nick Johnston.
Yeah, I think he's just running in the easier line. No really need to run the bottom, and you're definitely going to be using up more tire, keeping the car stuck down there. So it's easier to just run the top.
Yeah, Roberts has a problem. He's dropping back relatively quickly here, so something has gone amiss in this race car, whether it be in the suspension or, you see him wiggling and wobbling. That car is not very stable right now. So hopefully he can get that car repaired, but typically hits to the rear hurt your engine more than they do the front. Let's keep an eye on his straightaway speed here.
It looks like he's coming out the corners really weirdly. I'm not entirely sure why.
The car looks really loose to me.
Yeah, it is weird because everyone else is seeming to struggle with tightening it.
Well, that's what he had before. I wonder if when he got hit, it kind of jacked up the rear suspension enough to cause an issue. But he seems really slow in the corners as well. You see the car in front of him. That's Jackson Robillard slipping and sliding for a moment. But he's being very ginger on the steering wheel. It's almost like that car's about to snap around on him.
Yeah, so definitely feeling something in that car. Oh, yeah, you did get...
Oh, you can see the rear...
The taillight, yeah.
Yeah, that's all bent up, and even the fin as well. Right down the center, that gray piece basically directly between the wheels. So something is certainly amiss for the 39. He's dropping off the pace here. Jumping back up to the lead, though, Byron Daly and Nick Johnston, have not jumped off the pace, and Johnston goes to the lead out of turn 4, but he can't quite clear that 0-6.
Yeah, honestly, if I were these two guys, I wouldn't try to fight this at all. Pick one to be in the lead and keep it that way, because they got a 2-second gap over Larkamp, which is huge, especially because we're sitting for a pretty solid green flag run. Don't want to jinx it now, but this race is looking to be pretty green as a lot of people are spread out.
Battle for the lead off into turn 3. Johnston on the low side, Daly on the top side, trying to carry that momentum on the straightaway. These cars might have, downforce enough to be able to stay full throttle around here. A lot of mechanical grip as well, but they're still going to struggle in the corners, understeering on exit, even with that rubber down there. So keep an eye on that 28. A bit of a bobble out of turn 2 for him, actually. These cars are very evenly matched, though, that's for sure. See the 28 on the bottom get a good run through the center of the corner. He's going to try to slide up. Almost had it there for a second. If he can just get clear, he can put the 0-6 in dirty air, and he does.
He's looking to, he prefers the bottom lane a lot more. Daly loving that top lane, just kind of riding it around. I'm actually curious if Daly's going to try to fight back for the lead here. He seems to be more on the conservative side. You see he's kind of sitting in behind. I think he feels like it's not really worth fighting the 28 car right now.
I think Johnston's quicker as they come across the line. What are the lap times going to be for Johnston? It was a 24.771. For Daly, a 24.856. Maybe a touch quicker. Out of turn 2, though, they're still pretty much dead even in terms of speed on the back straight. Caution in the background. It's Chris Matthews in the 92, and he's upside down. I think this is in turn 4?
No, that's turn 1.
Turn 1. Yes. He's turned over. We'll land back on all 4 Firestones, and our 5th caution of the night comes out. How did this one start? Ooh,
Oh,
whoa, whoa, holy cow!
Oh, no.
Who was that?
That was Danny Roberts, I
Oh,
believe.
was it?
Yeah. Saw
Holy
Ferrari markings on the car.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Danny Roberts.
Wow,
Oh.
look at that.
That's impressive. Right
I'll
there.
give you bonus points for that one.
That's a whole new definition of wall riding right there. Well,
It finally tumbled off at the end. I feel bad for laughing at his expense, but that was a pretty spectacular accident, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
that was.
Well,
I want to write off the rear gearbox of Roberts.
all right. Well, you're have fun.
Yeah, I'm more just curious of why he ended up coming there. I think he might have been clear up until just at the end straightaway and thought he was clear.
Yeah, this is just a flat out mistake.
Oh no, yeah, he was definitely side by
Yeah, he just came up the racetrack and just wow. Well, that's something.
That is trippy.
Wow. Okay, I'm getting sick. And Chris Matthews on board. This is gonna hurt.
So he's definitely not clear than 92.
He's
So
definitely to the outside, established.
Yeah.
41 just comes up. Wow.
Maybe he just thought he had more racetrack. I'm just kind of surprised that Danny Roberts made that mistake.
We lost that camera. And one more look. Actually, we got to do this in slow motion just to enjoy this here. And here it is in slow motion. Of course, the 92 really got the worst end of this. Of course, both cars are going to be done for the night, but the 41 just, I'm not sure if he just missed the clear call, but there's definitely an overlap and wheel contact, and look at this. And the roll hoop gets into the concrete there. And he's going to get into the fence and tumble right along it. That was a very strange bounce off the fence. Once you hit the fence, I mean, physics just, you break. The way that fence grabs the car and just tumbles
I was going to say, if this wreck actually happened, the track would be closed down for the day.
I think the 41 would have taken about 500 meters of fence with him. That'd be an expensive repair job. But all right, so our 5th caution of the night on lap number 52.
He is sponsored by Ferrari, so I mean, if there's anyone else to put the bill, I guess Ferrari can put it.
I mean, I guess so. Well, we've had 6 lead changes at the front of the field, but Byron Daly has gone back to the top spot because our leader coming in was Nick Johnson. I think he has come down to pit lane, and everyone has come down to pit lane.
I was going to say, but Daly hasn't come down now.
Yeah,
that would be a very...
Now it was basically a fuel situation at this point. You're watching the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series on SYM TV. Of course, this is round number 6 of the season. And the remainder of the season will be broadcasted on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. right here on SYM TV. Walking into the night, this was your points picture. Clifton Naranjo on top of the board. Didn't show tonight. Naranjo, I don't think he did.
No, he's not. He didn't start the race.
So, going to tumble out of the points lead for sure.
Well, too, he's not... He's, I think, been more quiet, so I don't think we've really seen his true pace.
Yes, he is here, and he's currently running in 14th place. Will Roberts is having a decent night, other than that little damage he got. He fell to the back of the field here. Hopefully he's gotten that repaired. Cohen Evans is... Where is Cohen Evans? Oh, up towards the front. He's sitting 3rd right now.
I was going to say, Bommersbach, Evans, and Larkamp are set for... And Brophy, too. They're all set for really good finishes. They'll definitely elevate up the order unless Poole can really bounce back here in the later stages of this race. And also, Naranjo, I don't know where he's going to end up, but he's definitely going to lose quite a few points.
Well, I can tell you what we've lost quite a few of is race cars tonight, Finney. And we've got 19, actually, no, make that 18 cars running right now. And of those 18 cars, they are all on the lead lap. John Wilco is the last of those cars on the lead lap. So we've gone from 34 cars to 18. We have Philip Clark, who's now 7 laps down. He's not damaged, but he's clawing his way back 1 lap at a time.
I mean, he's set for a really good finish. He's going to easily jump up to that 19th if he keeps running without getting into a wreck, because Evan Adams, Roberts, and Matthews up ahead have all retired.
Yeah, so this has been a big shakeup. We've got a lot of cars retired, a lot of cars that are not running well in the points. They are running well in the race. So it's going to shake up the points picture after tonight. We'll update you on those next week. I don't even know what's next on the schedule, but we'll find out that shortly. Oh, the Charlotte Roval next Thursday. That'll be a fun one. All right, lap 57, green flag back in the air. Byron Daly fires off, tries to run away from Bomber Spot.
Very orderly start as we don't have too many guys left in the field. People are getting up to speed through turns 1 and 2.
Onto the back straightaway now. Daly tries to pull away, but Bommersbach hasn't been up inside the top 3 yet tonight. Going to take a swing to the outside lane, maybe have a look at the lead here. And I'm curious, is Bommersbach going to sit here? I don't think so. Johnston seemed like he was satisfied sitting in second. I do not think that's the case with Bommersbach.
No, he's definitely not. I think he's going to try to go for it. I'm curious to see what Cohen Evans does once he gets up to here. As you see him, he's going to go immediately to the inside of the 37.
It looked like he had a whole lot of grip down there, so they'll have to try that again and maybe turns 3 and 4. But Bommersbach, look at the run carried on the back straightaway. Takes a look to the outside. Daly again protecting the bottom. He's so difficult to pass here. Andrew Wood is slow out of turn 3, and that is a destroyed race car.
Yeah, front end's gone, suspension damage. That's going to be your timer for the 32.
Let's see exactly how this happened.
I think classic turn 2 out of here. Yeah, was running way out of the lane. Oh, he actually had contact.
That was Stephen Larkamp.
Yeah.
That he got into and into the wall in the back straightaway. That'll be a retirement for the 32. Cars dropping like flies here at Texas. Battle for the lead continues. Bommersbach on the outside trying to carry the momentum. As we've been talking about, these are basically like big go-karts. You don't want to slow down if you can because you lose that torque. And here comes Cohen Evans now with a look, and Matt Hollabaugh. He's been very patient tonight in that 0-2, slowly moving his way forward. He started 5th, dropped to the rear a little bit, and now is clawing his way back. Net gain position of 1 after 60 laps. So
yeah, I mean, hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's definitely played this out patiently, and it's rewarded him so far as we're approaching the halfway point in this race.
Daly has gotten taken to school there. Bommersbach to the lead, and Daly's going to try to use the outside lane to come back. Not quite clear yet. I think Bommersbach will have this in 3 and 4, but Daly's going to fight hard. No, he has to lift.
Yeah, Daly pinching down the 37, using that to his advantage. We'll get a nice run off the corner, so Daly fighting hard here.
And he's going to re-clear him. And here comes Cohen Evans to fill the hole on the outside. And we'll continue fighting for the lead, but Daly is so strong tonight. Couldn't count him out from the start, and certainly can't count him out now.
Hollabaugh almost gets to the wall there. Was trying to ride in behind Cohen Evans. Had to back off a little bit. Now being reeled in by Nicholas Johnson, who's moved up to 5th place.
Yeah, Johnson restarted back in 5th or 6th on the restart. And moving back forward, got some fresh Firestones, getting that car in the right direction. I thought Johnson was quicker on the older tires, though, so maybe waiting for the tires to kind of wear out a little bit and make these drivers lift a little bit more, because as we get later in the run... Whoa, behind him! That's Larkamp and Robillard they got together, and that's the second time tonight that Robillard has gotten the right side of somebody's, or the left side of somebody's vehicle. He's been, sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball, Finian.
You don't really want to be the either, really, in the Indy cars. These cars cannot take much of a hit. They're lucky that they hit wheels and didn't damage any parts of the car.
I guess.
From what I can see, they look like they're running all right.
Wheels are pretty dangerous to hit, too. Will Roberts, after that damage out of turn number 2, he hasn't really seemed the same, and he's trying the outside lane here.
Yeah, let's see if you can go back to the rear backs of the car. See really anything.
That's fixed.
Wow.
Rear clip, I think, has been repaired. Maybe just being cautious now. That's Vic Bloom right in front of him. Remember Vic Bloom? He was crashed on the back straightaway. Managed to keep that car from hitting anything, and everyone managed to not hit him. He's running 12th and looking for 11th on Valenzuela.
These guys have lost the pack. They're 2 seconds behind Don Ronco, who's having a great run in 10th.
Yeah, Don Ronco Jr., the Cup side has not been kind to him this season, but the IndyCar side, take a look at the points. Walking into the night, he wasn't inside the top 15 or 16, but I will say this is a strong run for him this evening in that 0-0.
It's 24th. So he'll definitely gain quite a few positions with a finish like this.
And especially with so many of the front runners out early. Bommersbach and Johnston for 3rd. Cohen Evans has moved up into 2nd and trying to track down Byron Daly, but Daly is setting a fervent pace out front. Yeah. The quickest car on the racetrack and starting to pull away.
This is dangerous too, because once he gets pulled away, it's going to be kind of hard to reel him back in. With some of these guys behind, maybe Johnston or others can get it done. Come across the line, we're going to be halfway through this race. Start the second half here. We've been pretty green in the last few runs that we've had, so we'll see how long this can go. Larkin too can try to regain some of the positions he's lost.
Yeah, again, Larkamp almost got taken out a couple times the last few laps since the restart, but managed to keep the car out of the fence and out of other drivers, and now sits in 7th. He's down 3 spots from where he started tonight, and that's a lot of work to do to get those spots back. They're pretty easy to pass towards the rear, but as you get to the front, they get harder and harder to pass, and you see him understeer big time out of 2, and every time you have to lift, it just destroys your lap time.
That's really where you gotta, that's how you make sure you get into the corner properly, so that way you can avoid having to get that lift off on the straightaway where you lose so much time.
And Jackson Robillard right behind him. He's had a few scary moments tonight. And look who's behind him. John Poole came into the night 2nd in the standings, and this is all he needs to do to really wrestle the points lead away from Naranjo coming into the night. So if Poole finishes as he is, he'll be in a good spot. At least close in on the leader. 70 laps into this 134-lap race. We passed our halfway point. And Byron Daly has led a bunch of laps so far. He's led 45 of the 70 we've done. I didn't even realize he led that many, so he's flying right now. And his lead, the expanding is stagnated. He's sitting at 0.8 of a second, which is about as big as it's been, but it's not really growing any larger. Hollabaugh in 5th, trying to carry some outside momentum to get up for 2nd as Cohen Evans slides up the racetrack. Bommersbach crosses over, and Johnson's just trying to figure out which line to choose here.
Yeah, this could be really dangerous too, because he's trying to, he's running in right behind these guys. If they make a mistake in front of him, he's going to be the victim here.
So Bommersbach trying to fight back on Cohen Evans, and Byron Daly loves this right now. And here comes the 44 of Jason Brophy, was our pole sitter tonight. He dropped out of the lead early to avoid incident and hasn't tasted the lead since then, but 5th is as high as he's run since he dropped out of the lead.
Yeah, that car looking really nice on the inside line. Able to ride around. You see him running all the way up into the wall in turns 1 and 2, so he's mixing it up quite a bit here, following whichever lane's faster.
Look at this
run.
run.
Look at that run. Couldn't get it done, though. I think I had the 22s inside. Go to the inside of the 17 into turn 3. He'll go.
He's pushing, though. He's pushing. Can't keep it down. Had to lift out of the throttle. Here comes Johnson to the inside. 3 wide for a moment. They single back out, and Johnson taking a look at 4th place. He wants it back.
Wants it back. You see the 44 jump up into the top lane. He's been really nailing these runs out of turn 2.
Whoa! Oh, no, they're in the wall!
Oh, no.
And Cohen Evans torn up on the back straightaway. So is the 44. And that's how fast things change. This has been a night of attrition for the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. And Cohen Evans and the 44 Brophy, they were 2 of our best race cars up inside the top 5. And how quickly things change. That turn 2. 17 just clears up in front of the 44, and I don't think Brophy had enough time to lift.
Yeah, that's a big part of IndyCar racing too. You have to, know where guys are going to end up when they come out of the corner, especially when their tires are wearing out and everyone's filing up towards the wall. You gotta have to predict that.
Yeah. So you're saying this is on the? Oh yeah. It's definitely on the 44 there, I would think.
It's kind of weird because, general racing rules would say, the 17 came up into him. But you have to, again, when it comes to this type of racing, you got to account for guys on older tires and, where they're going to be on corner exits. You can't just assume they're going to stay down there because he pretty much can't. You can see him, he's got decent wheel. He's cranking more and more wheel off the corner, but can't really do much with his car.
What a violent impact there. And
so I would say, if anything, this is more on the 44, just not backing up, because he had the run.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations where you look. That's probably more for a crossover than to just try to go up the outside. I think you're right, though. I think there is responsibility to understand the dynamics of the race cars when they come out of corners like this. Yeah, I mean, you could argue the 17 came up. I think that's an argument anybody can make, but you have to consider the car that you're in. And in that case, I don't think there's a whole lot Cohen Evans could have done without lifting and maybe presenting an even more dangerous situation. So an unfortunate collision on the back straightaway, though, and 2 more good cars are out of the race. Well, we've got Vic Bloom, who stayed out on the racetrack to lead a lap, that's my understanding. But the rest of our leaders,
he's actually scored in 2nd. Jared Dixon.
I think he reset, so I don't think I don't think the simulator is going to yell at him or give him the lead for that. At least it shouldn't. Yeah, I don't think it'll give him the lap lead here. Kind of.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now, okay.
Yep. Just because of the way the resets work, it made him look like he was leading, but he is not. It's Vic Bloom out front. I expect he'll come down pit lane this time, or maybe not. Oh, here it comes. So Byron Daly is going to reassume the lead here. And all that lead, it was about 1.5 seconds that he had gained.
Hey, you go back to the lead lap track?
What? This one?
No, the lap slide.
Oh, well, this isn't lap slide. This is last pit.
Oh. Okay.
I don't have that as a graphic yet. I will soon.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and it's sure that I thought that he led 22 laps. I was like, when did I miss that?
No, Byron Daly has led 51 of our 77.
He's really close to locking in most laps led, and if he leads 16 more, he should be able to lock that in. So he's done a really solid job in the front, not being people able to play.
Jackson Robillard started 25th tonight. That car is filthy. It's been through a lot tonight. He's running 3rd right now.
I would say running a very basic white paint scheme, and you can really see the amount of dirt. They really need to adjust this. I say this every time. Like, it's really nice to see, but these cars get really, really filthy. It looks like it's run a 24-hour race. Like that's how a car at Le Mans looks after it's done. Not really a car that's only raced for like half an hour.
Looks like he did like an all-wheel drive burnout or something. It shows up a lot worse on the white car. If you go to Bommersbach, it's still dirty, but you can't quite see it as much. Daly isn't really that bad. I think being out front prevents it from happening.
I was going to say, it's probably why, but yeah, Jesus. It is filthy.
All right, well, we should be 1 to green this time. Maybe one more lap. The lights should shut off the pace car this time by. They do. So the amber extinguished on the F500 pace car. And that will turn the lead back over to Daly for the restart. Again, that was our 6th caution. Had 10 lead changes at the front of the field. And again, we jumped into this a little bit late in the season. But my understanding is we haven't had races like this so far this season. So this has really been the first time that these drivers have really struggled to get the track figured out.
Yeah, honestly, you can't entirely blame them. Texas typically is usually...
Oh, it's a challenge.
Regardless of the series, yeah.
And the track temp has dropped, so that hopefully should help the overall grip levels. You see the rubber beginning to make its way up. And if we get another caution, we'll take a look at the change in the amount of rubber laid down between now and what it was during practice. I think it'll be a pretty good comparison. All right, so Daly, Bommersbach, Robillard, Hollabo, Johnston, Poole, Larkamp, Runkle, Roberts, and Valenzuela, your top 10. Restarting lap number 79. If we go green to the end, it's going to be about a 20-minute race, and I will let you guys know that Finnegan's actually got a race to participate in. He'll have to leave in about 30 minutes, give or take, so hopefully we get done before then, so I won't be by myself. All right. Green flag back in the air, lap number 79. Daly fires off. Bommersbach, Robillard, Hollabo, Johnston. Trying to chase him down already. Johnston taking a look to the inside, off into turn 1.
He's wasting no time, immediately going to the inside of the 0-2. Hollabo going to let him on by. Nothing much he can do on the outside. Everyone's still building up speed. Curious what Jackson Roller can do inside the top 3.
For the lead, though, Bommersbach on the outside lane, trying to use that momentum. They don't have it all the way built up yet, though. This is still warming up to full speed out of turn 4. Look at Robillard pushing the issue. Almost got into the fence trying to chase these guys down.
It looks like Byron's actually, Daly's protecting the inside lane, which is actually interesting to see because he's definitely preferred that top lane. I think he might jump up there once Bommersbach gets a run here. No, he's still on the inside, so interesting.
And is Robillard going to sit on this, or is he going to use momentum to carry around the inside or outside of Bommersbach? I think that he's going to be patient until he gets an opportunity, and even still, we have a car.
There's a smoke cloud. I think Philip Clark or Brophy.
No, Brophy was already out. Not really sure. There was a cloud of smoke on the front straight. Don't know who it belongs to. Whoa, big checkup out of turn 2 for Robillard, and for the lead again. Bommersbach on the outside. Look at this pack forming up the front of the field.
I think it might have been Vic Bloom, but we'll check that at a later time as this pack is starting to form back up. This is large as it's been for quite a while. We saw a few string of cars up toward the front, but not really a big pack like this, so we'll see how this plays out.
And Johnston on the outside. This 28 car is a lot faster than we've been giving credit for tonight. He's been one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. Actually, almost has the quickest lap of the race, 24.147. It's pretty fast, so he's coming. If he can just get around Robillard, he'll set his sights on the top 2.
Yeah, he's been trying to get that run off the corner, but it doesn't seem he can't quite get it just yet.
There's Hollabo using the outside lane. Steven Larkamp is still lurking back here. Oh
boy.
Up the racetrack, Robillard takes Johnston all the way to the wall, and here comes Hollabo. No place to go, though. Has to back out of the throttle.
And John's going to go right in front of Robillard, who's going to have to suffer in that dirty air just a little bit. He actually clips the apron, almost loops himself around, but here comes Larkamp around the 89 car.
Yeah, I'm sensing a little bit of patience lost with some of these drivers. They're kind of using each other up, and this is something you'd see in a stock car race, not necessarily an open wheel race, but Byron Daly clears Bommersbach for the lead, and I don't think we're done yet.
Yeah, definitely not done though. These two seem to be in a world of their own as they start to pull away from Johnson and the rest of the field by 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, they're definitely the drivers to beat tonight, unless that 28 car can get up here. He's third now, just having to fight off the 0-2 behind him. Battles all over the front of this pack as the 28 clears the 0-2 just barely. Bommersbach still persistent on that outside lane.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. For some reason, the camera was moving. It looked like he was getting loose in the corner.
It might be. He's working that wheel pretty hard. Will Roberts trying to recover from his incident earlier in the night. That's John Poole on his inside. This is a fight for 7th spot. And I wonder if Bommersbach will give up this battle for now and just follow the 0-6, maybe learn a thing or two. And is that something you can do or would do if you're following somebody? Would you follow them and try to learn what they're doing, or is there not much to learn?
There really isn't too much to learn, especially in the lead. You definitely drive a lot more different in the lead than you do when you're in traffic. So I think Daly's just taking the easy defensive way around the bottom of the track. And I think he's also using the fact that the track's cooled down to his advantage.
Yeah, some more grip in the racetrack now than there was before. Running out of race cars, though, I'll tell you that. So certainly a lot more room out there to play with. Robillard and Larkamp, we saw this fight earlier in the race, and Robillard will re-clear Larkamp. Ooh, tight for third.
Whoa, really tight for third. Almost hitting the wall, hitting the safety barrier on the straightaway. He tries to rocket around Johnston. Yeah. He's going to do that.
One thing about IndyCars that's so intriguing is you don't get a second chance. If you use up somebody and you make wheel-to-wheel contact, you're going to crash. Yeah. And in a stock car, you can make contact and go, oopsie, sorry. You don't get to do that here. Your oopsie, sorry is barrel rolling down the backstretch at 220 miles an hour. You don't get a chance to say sorry. So you have to be extremely careful, especially once those tires start to wear out and the handling gets worse and you don't have as much maneuverability, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and the thing too is going on that point too, if you once you hit something, unless it's the nose or the rear wing which can be replaced, you hit anything else, the car is never going to drive the same no matter what you do, and you're going to be significantly off the pace. So you really have to make sure you keep the car as clean as possible as far as damage is concerned, because there's not a whole lot you can fix on this car.
I will say the average distance between leader and second place has got to be less than half a second all night long. Car's slow through the middle of 1 and 2. I don't know if that was the 0-0, but someone was real slow up against the wall. Will Roberts in the 39, aggressive on the outside, and will finally get around John Poole, set his sights on Robillard, and then the 89 right up the road.
That car seemingly pretty much back on pace where it was earlier in the night. It was struggling due to, you think, some damage.
Yeah, I think the damage was an issue. He got it repaired. I think after that he was just being patient. But now it's time to go. We're getting down about 40-something laps to go, 45 to go. You're going now. You're pushing for as much as you can. And we probably will run green most of the way to the end here. So if you're saving something, it's about time to turn up the wick.
Yeah, it really is, especially because the odds of a caution coming out now are very low, pretty much slim to none as Roberts moves past Jackson Robillard.
Oh, Nicholas Johnson might have caught the wall just a little bit. If he got it, it was pretty square on the tires. This shouldn't affect his performance, but Hollabaugh would take advantage of that and drive right around the inside.
Trying to get a run here, trying to do something. He's going to pull up at. He's really been ripping that high line towards the wall out of the corner.
It's so interesting because I don't know if we really see a whole lot of high line working a lot in IndyCar, but here's that's Will Roberts to the inside of Robillard for 6th place. And he'll just clear the 89. And you have to also be careful of that, because if you clear a guy, you're putting all that aero wash right on him at the exit of the corner. That's a very important place to have the little downforce that you get. So if you're behind and you see someone washing up in front of you, it's probably safe to back out just a little bit to make sure that you're not going to wash up after he gets in front. But Roberts is really playing with fire up that close to the fence. Doesn't leave you a lot of room for mistakes.
Yeah, it really does, and it also puts you in the situation of the guy on the inside. He was tight. You're going to get squeezed into the wall. So you got to be careful with that. Although Roberts seems to be really enjoying that high line. Looks like he's doing a good job of fighting with Robillard.
Oh, that got tight out of turn 2, and John Poole right in there as well.
He's leaving no space in behind Robillard. I think he's just trying to ride along with these two, figure out which one's faster, and then we'll go with that.
Whoa! Robillard loose out of turn 4. Running down to the end of this race, about 15 minutes of green flag racing remaining. Looks like Poole using the outside lane. It's how bumpy it is out there, though. That's pretty rough line to run. Again, trying to some 3 and 4 as well. Washing up the racetrack. Had to lift, though. I think 1 and 2 is better for the outside. 3 and 4 is pretty tricky to make that group work. Johnny Martin on pit lane in the number 12. That also reminds me, are we going to make it to the end on fuel? What do you think?
I think we're going to probably have to make a pit stop. I think with that many laps left to go, but we'll definitely see. Although I am leaning more towards the pitting scenario.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. May or may not be the case. Whoa, out of turn 4. That was Robillard and Poole almost getting together.
Robillard takes some grass through the tri-oval.
Just trying to get a little shortcut. That's all. Just an innocent little 1X. Oh, Robillard's going to... Whoa! That was about as close as it's going to get.
That's really what you have to watch out for, being on the outside line. Poole was lucky he wasn't there. He would have been put into the wall.
We're going to take another look at that.
Woo! That's the result of Robillard just riding in behind Roberts, getting the air wash, and he's also been struggling on tires, I think, more so than the guys around him.
Robillard's view. Whoa, my goodness. And Poole actually did back out of the throttle. If he didn't do that, we might... Oh, no! Almost again out of turn 2. Robillard really struggling with understeer out of turn 2 at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's going to be struggling to keep up with these guys at all.
Yeah, he's certainly hurt something. Oh, Will Roberts, he spun out in turn 4.
I think he was trying to come down the pit road. He's going to spin on the apron.
I don't know if he was. He just spun out, I think. 34 laps to go. And Will Roberts, now he's going to hit pit lane. I think that's the obvious choice now. But what happened in turns 3 and 4? I think... Was he trying to... No, he just hit the apron, I think. And then after he locked it... Yeah, I think after that point, he just decided we're going to go to pit lane. So, lost some time on the pit sequence here for sure. We'll see where he cycles out, but... wasn't really intentional, but we'll take it. Leader, though, Bommersbach has driven away. Byron Daly sits 3rd at the moment. He's been the dominant car of the night. And might need to play a little pit strategy, maybe an undercut, but we're not really dropping. We've only dropped 3/10 off our best times of the night. So not a whole lot of tire wear to really be concerned about.
Yeah, I'd say if anything, try to prioritize being in the draft more so than being by yourself. That's going to be more beneficial. So really, once the guys around you come to the pits, maybe then you should try to come in.
I'm going to rephrase that. We see 28 almost get the fence. I think there's a lot of tire wear. It's just not slowing the cars down. It's making them a whole handful to drive, but the lap time isn't really being affected all that much. And second place being contested now, Johnston and Daly. Daly on the bottom, Johnston up high. Closing in on 30 laps to go. Look at the run that the 28 gets, and Byron Daly is learning very quickly that the bottom is really no place to make a pass.
Looking at also the time between them and the leaders, are catching Bommersbach up ahead, so the top 3 closing in on each other.
How much are they closing? And if they start battling, will that change? Bit of a fight back here. This is for 7th place. Poole, Valenzuela, and Don Runkle. And Runkle looks like he was a little slow there out of 4, but Valenzuela and John Poole. Oh, actually, it's not John Poole. Excuse me. That's Valenzuela and...
It's a lap down car.
Yeah, it is a lap down car. My mistake there. Jump back up to the leader. Bommersbach is still a touch slower than at least Johnson. I think Johnson's the quickest car on the racetrack right now. 24.6. Yeah, 24.7's all around him as Hollabaugh hits pit lane.
Yeah, that tells me that these guys are definitely going to have to make a pit stop.
Yeah, I think that's certainly going to be the case. Hollabaugh hits pit lane. Now, when do your leaders come? Undercut worth it? Overcut I don't think is going to be a thing. So what's your choice?
I think, again, like I said, if you're able to get the draft off of someone ahead of you, try to follow them as much as you can, and when they come into the pits, come in the lap after, or try to come in with them if you can. You see Robillard getting really dicey in behind Poole.
Robillard has been struggling with the handling out of turn 2. Look at him wiggle and wobble on the entrance to turn 1. Loose on entry, loose on the exit of 4, and tight on the exit of 2. That thing is just an animal right now. And sometimes over the course of the run, you have to start driving the car differently to avoid those situations. And Poole up to 4th. Good run for the driver that's currently 2nd in the points walking into the night. No change up front. It's still Bommersbach, Johnston, Daly. Then Poole, Larkamp, Robillard, Valenzuela, Runkle, Munoz, Jared Dixon, your top 10. Ooh, 3 wide on the inside. Here goes Robillard. Is that going to work? Poole has to bail out and swing way up the racetrack. I think Larkamp bailed as well.
This is really these guys just being careful with each other on older tires, trying to make sure they don't get into each other here.
Yeah, so while I'm watching this battle, I'm also keeping an eye on the delta between Johnson and Bommersbach. It's about a half a second, which is maybe, is that a little bit around where you start noticing that aero push?
Yeah, it's definitely where you're going to start getting around half a second. You're definitely in some of it. And I think Johnson's trying to find the balance, really, of making sure he's not too close to that 37 to be facing aero wash off the corner. Yeah, at least getting some toe down the straightaway.
Yeah, so here's Bommersbach right now. It's 4/10 back to Johnston. You know, I fear that really the quick line is pretty much right around the bottom. If you can arc the corner in, the problem for Johnson is that he's got to follow Bommersbach's line. But you see Byron Daly, he's trying something different. He was a couple lanes up the racetrack, trying to just find anything quicker, because right now what he's doing wasn't really gaining him any ground.
Yeah, I've been watching Johnson's speed too. He's dropping slower than Bommersbach in the corner, but is faster than him at the straightaways with the draft the way it's working out. So he's found a good balance to really sit him behind the 37 here. We'll see when these guys make their trip down the pit road.
Yeah, and Byron Daly is in Johnston's aero push as well. So both these cars have a little bit of draft. They also have a little bit of push from the driver out in front. Poole and Robillard, they're not giving up here, Finian. If we get an incident, this is probably where it'll be.
Yeah, these guys have been not giving each other pretty much just inches to work with. They've been fighting very close together here off the corners especially.
Robillard is so tight out of turn 2 that if someone gets to his outside and Robillard doesn't see it till the last second, we could have another issue like we've seen most of the evening. Larkamp rim riding around the outside of the wall. Robillard again. See him wiggle. Turn 4 he's loose, turn 2 he's tight. Well, at least that's what it looks like to me. Closing in on 20 laps to go here at Texas for round 6 of the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. And Larkamp is being patient here. Don't know if he has much of a choice. Really nowhere to go right now.
Yeah, it really isn't much to go. I think he's just kind of waiting in the wings here, waiting for something to happen.
Robillard is even tire tracks out of turn 4. He's so loose through there. But for the lead, Johnson, for a moment, had tracked down Bommersbach, and he was 2.5 tenths on the front straight. And maybe he's just to the point where the draft and the aero push are now kind of equalizing out, and he can get a touch closer.
He's been arcing, he's been running higher in the turns, been getting really solid runs down the straightaway. See him just trying to stay out of that push, then arc it down. It's a really good line that he's running right now.
Last time through was about a tenth slower. We'll see if he can improve that this time. Again, arcing in. You see he's pushing up through the center of the corner. But he's going to gain some on exit, I'd imagine, plus a touch of draft at the start-finish line. What's the time? For Bommersbach, a 24.707. For Johnston, a 24.750. So almost dead even between these two. 20 laps to go here at Texas. And it's really the top 3 and then everybody else. I think Robillard is settled on the fight with Poole, and now he's got Larkamp breathing up his tailpipes here. But these guys are running such different lines, I just wonder what happens when you put the two together. Larkamp's rim riding, Robillard's kind of bottom feeding. But their lines intersect on corner entry and corner exit.
That's where it's been getting really spicy between these guys. Also, there's Matt Hollaba that's running in behind these guys.
He's actually, remember, he's got fresh tires on his car, fresh Firestones. He's making up a lot of time, almost a half a second a lap. So this might cycle out in his favor. As for the lead, here comes Nick Johnson to the inside on the front straightaway. Trying to take, contact there off into turn 1, and Bommersbach goes swinging way up the racetrack to compensate.
It's easily going to give Johnson the lead here for the moment at least.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough pass for Johnson, but he got the job done, and that's all that matters at this stage in the race.
Poole's come down on pit road.
Nope, he's got a little internet issue there. So will anybody else make a trip to pit lane? 18 laps to go. Maybe they can make that.
I was going to say, I'm guessing at the way they're running, they probably can make it. Although we saw Hollaba come down and I saw a few other guys.
Hollaba is actually disconnected here.
Oh.
Not sure what for. I'm going to quickly jump off and see if I can find what happened. Did he make contact with somebody or something? Oh, just...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's lost connection. Damn, that sucks.
That is not what you want to see. Poor Hollaba.
And the worst thing, too, is if they do have to come down to pit road, he would probably cycle out to be the leader.
That would have won him the race.
Or very close to it. So, fortunately, won't get to see how that plays out.
Daly and Bommersbach side by side for second. Daly going to go the long way around. And should be able to get clear of the 37. It looks like he has as Bommersbach hits pit lane.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking we're going to have to make some pit stops in for Hollabell. That's going to be painful.
I would be punching a hole through a wall right now. That really sucks.
So now the fight cycles back out to Johnson and Daly.
Yeah, and I can imagine that these guys might want to come in.
I think
sometimes
Johnson,
unless they're good.
Yeah, they could be.
Because the thing is that, remember, Bommersbach was leading most of that last run that we're on. These guys might have been running in behind to save some fuel, and they might have saved enough. Could be really close.
They didn't save that much, though. I wonder how it'll cycle out. Well, we're going to find out, but Bommersbach rolls back out on the racetrack. Remember, you got to stay below that white line until the blue cone on the back straightaway. Or risk penalty. Okay, he's good. Jackson Robillard in pit lane from 5th spot. And our leaders will continue to make laps. I have to imagine they're going to try to go to the end here, but I mean, pitting with 10 laps to go, I don't know if that would ever be my strategy, but they might try it. There's the 99 of Vic Bloom. Going a lap down. Is that Vic Bloom?
Yes.
Who is Vic Bloom? Oh, in 8th.
Going a lap down.
Going a lap down.
Yeah, again, we'll have to see if the leaders do indeed have to make a stop.
I mean, we've seen a couple of our front. I mean,
so I think it really depends on how these guys have been running.
yeah, Robillard and Bommersbach were on the same. They're on the same strategy as everybody else. So I don't see why these guys would be able to go any further.
Well, again, they were running in behind and might have been able to save. It might have been close. It might not have been a huge amount of fuel they had to save.
Another car hitting pit lane. Jared Dixon. I have to imagine they're coming. So now, if you're Byron Daly, you're sitting second. What's your call? I would come a lap or two sooner. I mean, you're only going to make up a 10th or two, but it might be worth it. What do you think?
If I was going to come in, I would have come in a lot sooner than what they're saying out. So, which is what's leading me to believe that they're just trying to run it out to the end here.
Well, the other thought is they're just going to get a splash. So if the longer they go, the less fuel you have to take. So I think just coming in for, I mean, they're taking tires though, so maybe that's not the strategy. But still, the 2 leaders out. A lot of other drivers pitting. I think we've seen a couple more hit pit lane. So Poole and Larkamp, the latest of them. So Bommersbach, currently the farthest cycled of the drivers that have pit. So the top 6 are the ones that have not made pit stops just yet. This is really turning into an intriguing strategy race here.
It's really just a matter of who's got enough.
Can they go 60 laps on fuel? There's no way. For Johnson, he's hoping he can if he doesn't make a pit stop, because that's what he's going to looks like he's trying to do. Robillard and Roberts, this is for 9th. Robillard has gone through. Roberts trying to chase him down. 9 laps to go at the front of the field, running out of time. Vic Bloom hits pit lane from 5th. I'm just waiting to see. I mean, they got to be close. If they're stretching it this far and just trying to see how far they can go. Oh boy. Well, oh, Will Roberts, I think. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Vic Bloom. I saw negative speed on the. I think Vic Bloom just overshot his box there just by a touch. So no other pit stops at the front of the field to talk about. Top 5 have been out for 50 laps or longer. What about Wilco? I mean, he's only got 50 laps. He's 2 or 3 laps better to the good than the drivers in front of him, or Munoz as well. Actually, Munoz is on the same strategy, so it's really just Wilco that's positioned himself in this spot. And we've got a car coming to pit lane, and it's Munoz. Byron Daly.
Oh, and Daly's coming down, yes. Yeah,
and Munoz as well. So with 6 laps to go, Byron Daly comes on down. This is a very strange strategy to me, Finian, but maybe they got something for it. And Johnston, I expect to hit pit lane very shortly. Here he comes. Trying to make up as much time as he can. Down to pit speed. Looks like he made it just fine. So now,
where's
Wilco? He should cycle out. So Johnson's in. Byron Daly is rolling back out. Whoa! Watch that yellow line. Here goes Bommersbach by. And Wilco is just gone back to. So Bommersbach is going to be in a better spot than anybody right now. With 5 laps to go, coming to 4. And where's Johnston going to cycle out? Here they come. Bommersbach on the front straight. Johnston on the apron in turns 1 and 2. It's going to be 4 laps. This is going to be close.
Let's see.
Well, remember, Johnston's going to have a little bit fresher tire. Is it going to matter in the final 4 laps? I don't think that's going to be enough, Finian.
That's even if he took tire, too. He might have not. At this point, I probably wouldn't take tires.
It was a 3-second stop for Nick Johnson.
Yeah, so he definitely did not take tires.
Yeah, so Bommersbach is going to be in the catbird seat here with 3 laps to go next time by. This is an excellently played strategy. Came in before anybody else at the front of this group 11 laps ago. And Johnson, he's throwing a bit of a block there on Vic Bloom. I don't think, without tires, there's no way he's making up 2 seconds. This is Bommersbach's race.
Whoa.
But I got tight. Larkamp and Robillard, they're fighting for 5th in the background, but they've sorted that out. At the front of the field is Keiten Bommersbach. He started the night in 7th place. He's been up front most of the evening, out of harm's way. Was aggressive with Byron Daly, but respectful the entire time. With 2 laps to go, Bommersbach is sitting in position to take home a victory in round 6 of the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series.
Man, I really feel bad for Matt Holloway. I really would have been curious to see where he would have turned out in all of this, because he would be on the strategy I would have probably been on. Just pit at like halfway through the stint, get some tires too for your car. So he might have benefited, but we'll never know. But Bommersbach currently benefiting from a really good strategy call here with a 4-second lead coming to the white flag.
In 134 laps, we had 6 cautions. For 20 laps, we had 13 lead changes. The final of them being Keiten Bommersbach jumping to the lead here in the closing moments in front of Nick Johnson, playing the strategy just right to get himself out on top of the podium. For 2nd place, Daly and Johnson are side by side on the white flag. Daly's gonna get it, but for Keiten Bommersbach through 3 and 4, he's gonna hold the revolver at the end of the day. Texas Motor Speedway, round 6 of the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series goes to Keiten Bommersbach. He wins at Texas.
Out of turn 4, just on the white flag lap. Byron Daly's going to finish ahead of Nicholas Johnson.
And John Poole got 3rd as well.
Yeah. How about that? I haven't really talked a whole lot about Poole all day, but he also played this out really well. Cycle at the 3rd place.
That was a great run for
and
the
remember,
23.
he was fighting with Larkamp and Robillard, who finished in 5th and 6th, so he pulled off something. Actually, we can pull out the graphic. I'm just kind of curious when he came in.
He came in 10 laps ago, so about 4 laps after Bommersbach.
Yeah, and took tires. So the tire strategy was a really good call.
He comes in 3rd place for him, but for Bommersbach, celebrating here at Texas. What a well-played strategy. I thought everyone waited too long to pit, Finian, and I think that this was the right call. Pit earlier than later and use those fresh tires to your advantage. Texas is a challenge. We had 14 cars finish the race after we had a grid of almost 35. But the driver on top at the end of the day was Keiten Bommersbach. Victory lap in reverse for the 37. We're going to talk to him and a couple others here in just a moment. But first, here's a look at your race results, Finian. Your thoughts after Texas.
No, it was a really good race in the second half there, especially when it came down to the strategy. These guys playing it out. And also just some really good racing, a lot of good racecraft from a lot of these drivers as well.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the race. Finian, you got to go, so I'm going to let you get up to your race, so good luck. He will be on the iRacing Esports Network here in about 25 minutes. So if you want to watch SYM TV commentator Finny DeCuna tear it up in a Lotus 79, where are you at? Road America tonight, right? Road America at 10:50, iRacing Esports Network for the what's called the Lionheart Retro Series. He'll be competing. We'll be back in just a moment to talk to your winner and others. Stay with us.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, 2 Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s. Giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the 2 companies joined forces and MyLapse Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with 2-way communication, Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLaps. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to SYM TV. Here now with our fourth place finisher, Nick Johnson, driving the number 28 Shell IR18 tonight. Nick, some strategy played out at the end there after a long green flag run to end the night. Came up just a little bit short in fourth place. What led to that decision to pit so late and not take tires? Did you think you could short fuel the car and get there, or how'd that all play out?
Honestly, during that whole last stint, I was trying to save tires and save fuel as much as I could, running there behind my teammate Byron and Caton there towards the end of the stint. And I eventually worked my way into the lead there and thought I had a pretty good run going on. And I figured, I mean, I was pitting with less than 5 to go. I didn't think the car would be that dangerous with 2.5 more gallons in it than it had. But my backside is cramping because of how scary that car was driving in the last 3 to 4 laps. I just had to do everything I could not to end it all.
Talk to me about the exit of turn number 2, because that seemed like that was the trouble spot tonight. How did you fight the understeer at the exit of turn 2, and were you forced to run a different line to avoid hitting that fence?
Really, it all just depended on how Caton ran it in front of me. If he was doing a really good job there in the middle of that last stint of running whatever line I would run the lap before. So I could never be consistent. I could never do the same thing twice. So one lap I'd be able to run high and cut the car low, because as you see the track flattens out off of 2, whatever the car's doing at that point, it's going to continue to do, whether it's understeer or 4-wheel slide. So I had to do that. And then in 3 and 4, just the same thing. If he ran high, I could run low and gain a lot of time. But if he ran low, I'd have to run time and gain a little bit of time. So it was a real cat and mouse game, a lot of strategy as far as the aero game there towards the end.
All right, well, Nick Johnson, fourth place tonight. Not quite a podium, but very, very close, and a strong run for that 2018. Nick, thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week at the Charlotte Roval.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right, next we're going to talk to our third place finisher, John Poole, who came home P3 after a long fight. John, we didn't talk a whole lot about you tonight. You were very quiet running inside the top 10, but you came home and stole away a third place at the end. Talk to us about your night, negotiating traffic, and that final pit stop to get you a podium.
So, it was a really interesting race. Decided that at the start to start from the pits. I just thought, just based on practice and how that was going, just start from the pits, be safe, and slowly but surely just methodically worked my way up until about half the cars had fell out, and then I decided it was time to go. Traffic, for the most part, was all right until I hit about P6, P5, and then, of course, that's your cream of your crop. So it got real tight, and I was just fighting it from there on. And last pit stop, just was a little conservative in, and had a little bit of luck with Matt and a couple others having some issues on pit road, and was able to negotiate Nick there on the last corner and get a P3 out of it.
Talk to us about the track conditions changing, because obviously the afternoon, the shadows started getting longer, the track cooled down, the track rubbered up. How much did the race car change handling-wise from the start to the finish?
So definitely start to finish, there was drastic changes. I would say that starting out it was a little bit looser. I actually liked it a little bit looser there, but as the race progressed and as rubber got down, it definitely got really, really tight. And you were just fighting the car the entire run, so it was a challenge for sure as the race progressed.
All right, well, a solid third place result for John Poole tonight. 30 points back of Clifton Ranho coming into the night. You should be, if you're not leading the points, you'll be pretty close to it at the end after everything's calculated. So congratulations, John, and we'll hopefully see you next week at the Roval.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to let talk to our second place finisher, Byron Daly, the number 06 car. Byron, a fight all night long, probably good enough to win the race, but just talk to us about that strategy at the end and your choice to pit when you did.
Yeah, I could tell you that was the wrong strategy, and I decided to throw that race away. It was kind of it was a fun race. I had a lot of fun. I did something dumb, and I just hit the apron, and that kind of set the race in stone for me. I thought I could outsmart him there, and just take fuel and get back on the racetrack and have a good big lead. But the tires were just worth so much that I came out behind them on the pit cycle, and then trying to drive the thing on old tires, low fuel. It was quite the adventure. So it really sucks to learn that the hard way. Kind of really wanted that one, but it is what it is.
Obviously, Texas this week, but next week we head back to North Carolina to Charlotte for the Roval. Your expectations going into a brand new track and car combo, how do you think you're going to run?
I like road racing in this car, and the Roval, I've had plenty of laps around there, just in other stuff, so I feel pretty comfortable about it. I feel good about it. Hopefully that experience pays off, and maybe I can actually win one of these.
All right, Byron Daly second tonight, and his number 06. Solid job there, Byron. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And now Kyten Bommersbach, who ended up winning the race after tonight. Well, I think that was a very successful strategy. I think he kind of had everyone figured out there, with the exception of Matt Hollabaugh, who had an issue with his computer there at the end. Tell us about your strategy and why you decided to pit earlier, and why was that the right strategy versus everyone else's?
Yeah, I was studying everybody, and I have to give a big shout out to my team owner, Will Roberts. He spun into the pits early in the run, or right when the pit window opened pretty much, and he got fresh tires when he did that, and he was pulling away from me about 4/10 a lap. And so he was telling me, he was in my ear, like, tires, tires, tires. So as soon as they caught me back up after Byron's mistake, I just decided, I'm pitting now. The advantage on tires was worth the risk being caught out by a yellow.
In terms of the maneuverability of the tires, it seemed like the times didn't drop off as much as we would see in maybe a stock car, but it does seem like the handling was affected. Did it trend a little bit looser or a little bit tighter as the run went on?
It got tighter, but it also, especially out of two, the back end would snap away from you if you were pushing it too hard. So you would push up in 3 and 4 regardless, but 1 and 2, like, you were just snap loose. That's so much understeer that you become loose. So the advantage to have fresh tires was really important because of just how big of an option it gave you to place your car wherever you want.
So obviously out of Texas, probably one of your favorite tracks right now as you're atop the podium tonight, but we head to a road course next week, and one that I don't think everyone knows how they're going to do. Your thoughts on racing the Charlotte Roval, and do you think you got a shot to win there?
I'm very excited. I expect to run up front at Charlotte. I finished on the podium at Motegi earlier in the year and had some rough luck last week at Monza, kind of dropped me back to 6th, but the Charlotte Roval, I feel like I'm going to be one of the more prepared drivers heading in. I expect to run.
All right, so Kyten Bommersbach first in the number 37 car tonight after a strong run. A strategy call won the race. We'll see you next week at the Roval. Good luck out there. Thanks for talking.
Thanks so much.
So Kyten Bommersbach, the victorious here at Texas Motor Speedway. There's one final look at your results tonight before we head out. Next week, the Charlotte Roval, the 17-turn course. It's got everyone wondering who's going to win there. It might look like a road course, but it drives a lot different than your typical one. Sausage curbs, turtles, rumble strips, walls everywhere. It's like a street circuit, but worse. It's going to be an interesting topic of discussion for next week. But of course, drivers at the top of the podium: Bommersbach, Daly, Poole, Johnson just missing it, Larkamp a solid top 5, Roberts rebounding for 7th, Cristobal Valenzuela in 8th place in his number 3, Don Runkle Jr. in top 10, as well as Jared Dixon. So that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back with you on Saturday night for the Outsider Racing League at their next round. That's going to do it for us for Fuel Action until next Tuesday. We're going to head to Richmond for the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.